best Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Happy Monday, Mr. Singleton. Ask me why I'm wearing a coat indoors.
Yeah, why are you? I mean, granted, I'm wearing some kind of a jacket. Why are you wearing a coat indoors, though?
I spilled barbecue sauce on my hoodie.
You messy SOB.
I know. It doesn't happen often. I'm generally a very neat eater. Like, I don't have to deal with, whoa. Our intro started running a second time there. The encore. Locked in the encore.
No, we got to hear the story about how you spilled barbecue all over yourself.
I mean, it's not much of a story. I spilled barbecue sauce on my hoodie. Sometimes that happens. Not terribly frequently, but today happened to be a very inconvenient occasion in which I spilled barbecue sauce on my hoodie. So now I'm just kind of trying to hide that for the rest of the day.
Is the control room, and I don't get to spend a whole lot of time over there where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Is the studio over there, is it a little bit warm?
It's a little bit warm.
Okay, so you're feeling a little bit toasty
I'm probably
right now.
going to be sweating by the time the hour's over. So,
or you can just take the coat off.
Yeah, you
Nobody's
know what?
Gonna judge.
I'm among friends here at the office. I suppose I can. But yes, doing my best to conceal the barbecue sauce stain on my hoodie the rest of the day. So there's that. That's where we get started here on a Monday.
We off to a good start this week?
I don't know if I would say it's off to a good start. It's off to a start. We'll see how the next hour goes here on Locked In. Brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC out in El Reno. Folks, it is the holiday season, and if you're looking to peruse the vehicle market for a new ride for either you or a loved one, well, check out Dorsey Jones because GMC offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today. And, of course, Dorsey Jones themselves offers fantastic service, including their iconic half-price oil changes on Saturdays. We appreciate Dorsey Jones for their partnership with us here on Locked In. And, man, before we kind of center things on the University of Oklahoma and the recruiting/portal/retention efforts therein, what a day for the QB portal market.
Quarterback market is going nuts right now.
Holy smokes. Within the span of 3 hours this morning, we received news that DJ Lagway would be entering the transfer portal, that Brendan Sorsby would be entering the transfer portal, and that Dylan Raiola would be entering the transfer portal. So, 3 multi-million-dollar arms all on the market within hours of one another. Now, what I ought to remind everyone, and hopefully many of you don't require this reminder because it's automatically become part of the calculus when you're considering the way that the dominoes fall in the portal, is that girlfriends are undefeated. And this reality, Grayson Singleton, is already coming into play with one of those 3 arms that I mentioned. Texas Tech University has picked up a commitment from a softball player at the University of Cincinnati by the name of Gretchen Sigmund. This would not be news to anyone in the college football world unless...
Is she the girlfriend of Brendan Sorsby?
She is the girlfriend of Brendan Sorsby.
Okay,
so
there you go.
I think that would give you a pretty reliable indication of where one of those dominoes is going to fall in the portal market.
Kind of like with Carson Beck last year.
Yes.
Following whichever Cavender he was doing.
I can't recall which Cavender it was. I think it was Haley. Is Hannah the one that's engaged to Jake Ferguson?
To Jake Ferguson. I think so.
I don't know. And it's more difficult to distinguish when they both have names that start with the same letter.
And they look exactly alike.
And they do look exactly alike.
They broke up like a month into the season, too.
I know. Did not last long.
No, it did not.
Apparently old Carson Beck was getting around, which, when you're in Miami and you're a multi-million-dollar quarterback, I guess that's just what you do. 405-651-3439 is the text line if you want to chime in throughout the show. So, yeah, that is the big news of the day as it pertains to the transfer portal, is that there are at the very least 3 and probably 4 big-time arms that are going to be available. We're still waiting on official word regarding Sam Leavitt, the Arizona State signal caller. I almost called him ex-Arizona State signal caller. The expectation is that he's going to depart that program and himself enter the transfer portal, but I don't think we have received official word on that yet. Regardless, Grayson, I will say this. There's going to be talk amongst the OU fan base as to whether the Sooners would be better off going and pursuing a quarterback in the transfer portal rather than rolling with the options that they have on the roster, i.e. John Mateer and Michael Hawkins, most specifically at the quarterback position in 2026. I'll be very clear up front here. I don't expect that Oklahoma is going to pursue a starting quarterback in the transfer portal. So, fun idea for some of you, nothing that's going to actually materialize. Oklahoma is going to proceed with Mateer and Hawkins on into 2026, unless something changes pretty drastically over the next month and somehow you lose them both. I promise you it will be one or the other starting week 1 for Oklahoma in 2026. But, man, it also just seems like it's going to be a good year to be out of the quarterback market with how inflated some of these dollar figures are going to get.
Yeah, that's probably why you want to be content with what you got. And let's be real. Down the stretch of the season, John Mateer has not been all that good, but there's a lot worse you could do than John Mateer. And plus, by the way, you've kept winning games too. So any incremental improvement that he can make over the course of the offseason, given that the defense is still going to be elite next year, you should still be able to win football games with him. So I do think that, yeah, you don't want to be in this quarterback market. By the way, especially with these quarterbacks too. Because these are not quarterbacks who, A, are going to come cheap, and B, their branding and their personality only is going to inflate it even more, especially when you get into the Dylan Raiolas of the world, right? So there's multiple reasons why, if you're Oklahoma, hey, just stand pat. See if Mateer can improve, or if Hawkins unseats him or something. Hell, Bo Bentley might surprise us and take snaps next year. Dari and I talked about that earlier today. So stay put with what you got. No need to get yourself involved with this fracas this year.
Quick aside, out of the 4, Leavitt, Lagway, Sorsby, Raiola, who's the best in your opinion?
Best and most proven, Leavitt. Highest upside, and the one I really think long-term is going to be the best is Raiola.
See, I think Sorsby is the best. And
I'm not going to fight you on that.
Yeah, I thought that might have been a hot take, but I think that is borne out when you look at where he's probably going to land, which is Texas Tech, because Texas Tech can kind of have their pick.
Yeah.
They have more money than anyone right now. And well, okay, Oregon maybe has more money. Texas Tech is more willing to spend money right now than any other program in college football. And the fact that they've seemingly put a red eye on Sorsby pretty quickly as the guy that they want would lead me to believe that he's viewed, at least in that building, and I would expect in many other buildings, as the best of the 4 options. He's also purportedly going to put feelers out in the NFL draft community as to where he might land if he were to be selected, which I think that guy's a first-rounder. If he enters the draft, I think he's a first-rounder with the season that he's had at Cincinnati and also the noticeable dearth of top-end quarterback talent that we have in the projected 2026 class.
It's not a good draft.
It's really not, which, man, John Mateer cost himself a lot of money down the stretch with the way that he played. And I get it. Working back from that thumb surgery, he was certainly dealing with some things that limited his ability to completely be himself. But if John Mateer didn't need to throw 40 touchdown passes this year. If he had just played over the course of 12 games the way that he played over the course of the first 4 games, he might have been QB1. And he might be off to the NFL at season's end.
Yeah.
Which right now that's not happening.
Obviously that ship has sailed.
A 405 listener wants to know, is the rev share cap a thing or not? Is it a thing? Yes. Is it also altogether likely that it's going to be circumvented via various mediums, also yes.
Mm-hmm.
There will be programs that find ways around whatever rev share cap may be implemented. And I think the number's, like $20.6 million, something like that?
Something in that area.
There will be schools that circumvent it. And I think you see that in some of the reported numbers that these schools are allocating for NIL. I think it was like part of the promise for Lane Kiffin at LSU was that they were going to commit $25 to $30 million per year to roster construction. How does that jive if the cap is $20 million and change? Well, that tells you they expect to have means by which they can circumvent whatever the cap is.
Here's my early prediction, and I don't think this is a hot take. DJ Lagway will be an LSU Tiger.
I'm with you on that.
You see Lane Kiffin retweeted the announcement that DJ Lagway was entering the portal.
Oh, man. Lane Kiffin's going to be an enemy of the state at Florida if he not only spurns that program for LSU, but then takes their quarterback.
Uh-huh. Doesn't Lane have to play Florida and Ole Miss this upcoming year?
Yes, he does.
Well done. Well done, schedule
He has
makers.
to go to Oxford, which I would pay good money. And I don't think, I'll have to double check, I don't think that falls on OU's bye week. But, man, I would pay good money if I didn't have obligations at the University of Oklahoma to go simply be a spectator and be in the building when Lane Kiffin returns to Oxford, Mississippi. That is going to be must-see TV.
Absolutely. A Sooner dude says, I hear everything you guys are saying, but Matier is paid as a top 3 SEC quarterback, and he's not in the top 10. That's the issue. They're winning games in spite of him, not because of him.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. You're right, that's true. But as Chapstick notes, there's a long history of second-year transfers growing significantly after the first year. Look at Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Jayden Daniels. Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was he was better in year 1 at USC than he was in year 2.
Right.
But
their
Chapstick
offensive
also
line,
said,
their offensive line did get significantly worse.
Yes,
from year 1 to year 2.
Chapstick also said even Baker Mayfield wasn't a first-year starter and was a transfer. Well, he wasn't a first-year starter because at that time you had to sit out a year upon transferring, unless you were a grad transfer. Baker Mayfield started the first season that he was eligible to start at the University of Oklahoma. But no, you're right. Like continuity and familiarity with the same system matters. And players get better over time. Most do. Some don't, but most do. I don't think John Mateer's incapable of racking up 25, 30 total touchdowns next season at Oklahoma, and I don't think he's ever going to be a guy that firebombs you to victory with 450 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. But I also don't think that's anything along the lines of what he might ever be asked to do at Oklahoma based on how good that defense is and will continue to be. And Grayson, relevant to the whole conversation surrounding retention and the portal, I'll tell you, the sentiment right now within the Oklahoma building, especially with regard to the defense, is, man, we don't really have any major needs going into the portal cycle. Certainly there are position groups where you might like to add a guy here, add a guy there, but
yeah,
it has been a sentiment in years past, really every year of the Brent Venables era up until this one, that, if we don't get a guy at XYZ position, we're screwed. Like, we're kind of going to have to go and pay whatever it takes to get a dude at this spot. That's not the way that they're feeling right now with regard to any position group across the board.
No, it's a good place to be. Now, are there still needs? Yes. I mean, given Oklahoma's recent history, they need to go get a tackle out of the portal. They will need to get a tackle. They will need to get a tight end as well. So those are your big needs, but in terms of, holy crap, we're going to be handicapped at this position if we don't get somebody. No, you're right. They are not in that desperate of a situation.
And that's a great place to be.
It's an awesome place to be.
You got the GM, Jim Nagy, and you got his staff working overtime right now, burning the midnight oil to make sure that they have all of their bases covered with retention so that in the next couple of weeks they can go full throttle after their portal efforts. And as I've said before, I expect that Oklahoma is going to go and spend the money to land a couple of big-time dudes. I expect one of those guys to be a wide receiver. And those are luxury additions. Those are additions that you can make because you have the money sitting around and because you feel confident enough elsewhere at all the other position groups that you don't have to plug holes. You kind of just get to pour the gravy on top at certain spots. Yeah. And I think that's what you're doing if you bring in a big-time wide receiver. I'll go back to what Jim Nagy said on these airwaves with Dari on Friday. Grayson, they feel like they want to get and need to get some of those young receivers ready to play next year. Guys like Elijah Thomas and Emmanuel Choice and Jayden Petit and Jasir Rogers. And so I would agree with the assessment that based on what you have in that receiver room right now, especially with the younger generation, those freshmen and sophomores to be next season, that you don't really need a high-dollar receiver in that room. But will you take one if you can get one? Absolutely you will.
I mean, I would like to have one. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at a lot of the teams in the college football playoff. A lot of them have a big-name dude or a big-time dude. Ohio State's probably got two of them, really. A&M's got one. Georgia's got one. So I think if you can make the financials work, go get you one.
405-651-3439 is the text line, and that is how you tap in with us here on Locked In. We're going to hit a quick break, get a quick word in from our fine sponsors that make it all possible here on the program and on the station. We will return here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Keep it right here.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
Feeling stuck in your current home? Now is the best time to make a move. Home Creations is making home ownership more affordable with low interest rate opportunities and special financing. Don't wait. Live like a champion today. Call Holly at 405-364-9999 to find your dream home.
364-9999 means Home Creations.
In the midst of this exciting football season and return of big league hoops, don't forget, it's health insurance season. November 1st through December 15th is the only time to renew or change your individual health insurance for 2026 without a qualifying event. Due to federal changes, it's more important than ever. Allison Insurance has guided thousands of Oklahomans toward the right health insurance policy. Call Allison Insurance at 745-2968 or 800-580-5587. Allison Insurance. They are the experts.
Imagine stepping into your backyard and finding the oasis you've always dreamed of. With Signature Custom Pools, dreams really do come true. Our expert team is dedicated to designing and building the perfect pool for your family, where every detail reflects our signature touch and commitment to quality. Ready to transform your backyard? Call us today for a free consultation at 405-898-9098 or visit signaturecustompools.com. Signature Custom Pools, where professionalism meets artistry and every project is built to the highest standards. Make your dream a reality with the signature touch.
Entrepreneurs and More Norman in South Oklahoma City have an experienced business partner in their neighborhood. More Norman Technology Center's workforce and economic development team understands the challenges entrepreneurs and small businesses face every day. From building an effective business model to hiring the right employees and managing cash flow, More Norman's business development experts can help you move forward confidently and thrive, knowing that you have a skilled partner at your side. Learn more about More Norman's Technology Center by calling 405-801-5000 or visit us online at mntc.edu.
Getting your first license? Come to Fusen Tag Title and License. We'll help you get your learner's permit, take your drive test, and once you pass, you can get your license or permit and snap a pic in our fun photo booth. Teens, adults, if you need a driver's license or real ID, we've got you covered. Call 405-364-1151 or visit FusenTag.com for more info. Saturday morning walk-ins welcome. Celebrate your big day the fun way at Fusen.
Hi, Teddy Lehman here for Titan Title and Closing. And when I played for OU, I knew I could trust my teammates. And when you're making the biggest decision of your life, like selling or buying your home, you want a team you can trust. That's why you can call my teammate, Devry.
Thanks, Teddy. As one of the partners here in Norman at Titan Title and Closing, I know a thing or two about Norman. I've raised my children here, and I've been in the real estate industry for over 25 years. We work with over 25 entities that are involved in each transaction, and our team plays on both sides of the transaction to achieve a win for our realtors, lenders, builders, sellers, and buyers. When you sell your property, be sure to ask your agent to close with Titan Title and Closing here in Norman. You can contact us today at 405-689-8617. Again, that's 405-689-8617.
This is Jake Aldrich, partner at Aldrich Teasdale. At Aldrich Teasdale, we worked for the world's largest insurance companies before we learned how they truly treat people and know that they are out to minimize or deny what has happened to you. When fighting them, you need a lawyer who knows their game plan and will be there to guide you every step of the way. From your medical treatment to the final resolution, Aldrich Teasdale will be by your side. Don't wait. Call Aldrich Teasdale today at 405-447-HURT. That's 405-447-4878.
Back with you here on Locked In. Parker Thune alongside Grayson, Singleton. And man, that cold's starting to bite here in the great state of Oklahoma. It is mid-December. It's about time to go into hibernation mode and stay cozy at home, Grayson.
And that's why we're going to tell you about our friends at Mattress by Appointment. All right, Ref Army, if you're tossing and turning on a mattress that's seen better days, let me tell you about a local gym that you need to try. Mattress by Appointment. It's run by Adam and his dad, John, a true father-son operation, and the vibe is different from those big retail showrooms. No pressure from the salespeople. You set an appointment, walk in, and they help you find something that actually fits your sleep and your budget. Not everyone is in the market for a new mattress, but we know that. But what we're saying is if you're thinking about buying a mattress soon, at least see what Mattress by Appointment has to offer. There's a reason they have over 500, yes, 500 five-star reviews at 1628 West Lindsay, or you can call or text at 405-956-2161 to set up a quick appointment. They also have a location in Chickasha as well. Mattress by Appointment is located by the Homeland on Lindsay Street. Our owners of the station, Brian and Casey, have tried them out and have actually purchased from them as well. So go check them out or call 405-956-2161.
There hasn't been a ton of concrete portal news regarding Oklahoma thus far, Grayson. And by the way, our transfer portal news and updates are brought to you by Norman Hyundai. Your best portal pick is Norman Hyundai, serving you and nothing else. Visit them at normanhyundai.com. But I did see this, man, and this was an Obi-Wan Kenobi moment for me. Now, there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Cody Jackson is entering the transfer portal, and I had completely forgotten that Cody Jackson exists. But Cody Jackson not only exists, he's done pretty well for himself the last couple of years at Tarleton State. Now, if you don't remember Cody Jackson, this was a top 100 prospect in the 2021 cycle. That was the Caleb Williams group. Reminder there. But Cody Jackson was a top 100 prospect at the wide receiver position out of Richmond, Texas, same hometown, same high school as C.D. Lamb. And he saw serious action for Oklahoma as a true freshman back in 2021. That was the only year he spent in Norman. After Lincoln Riley and that staff departed, he hit the transfer portal, went to Houston for a year, played there, had some medical issue. I can't recall for the life of me what it was, but that led him to only play 4 games at Houston, and then he wound up bouncing to Tarleton in 2023. Didn't play at all that season, but has had 2 moderately productive seasons back-to-back. And I would say, like, if we're sitting here a year ago in December of 2024 and Cody Jackson's on the portal market, we're probably talking about Cody Jackson as a dude that has a potential to bring things full circle and close out his collegiate career where it began in Norman, Oklahoma. But as it is, Oklahoma doesn't really have need for a depth guy at wide receiver, and that's what a guy like Cody Jackson would be. Like, if Oklahoma's going to pay money for a portal receiver this offseason, it's more than likely going to be an elite portal receiver that comes at like a 7-figure price point.
Yeah, no, there's no need to refine the margins at wide receiver for Oklahoma. Hey, there's a question on the YouTube chat.
Yeah, what do we got?
Concerning the tight end from Tulsa, who is expected to enter the transfer portal.
Ooh.
Brody Foley.
Brody?
No.
Brody. Is it Brody Foley?
That's
I think you're right.
Yes,
yeah,
Brody Foley.
I don't know why I was thinking his name was Brock Foley, but I think you're right. I think it's Brody Foley. He is very expensive. And he is probably going to be the most expensive tight end on the market. I have been told that the two schools that are looking like potential destinations for him at this time are Ohio State and SMU. And keep in mind here, keep in mind when I say this, tight end is generally not one of those positions where programs are spending huge sums of money in the portal. Like, tight ends are just not worth a ton compared to big-time quarterbacks, big-time offensive linemen, defensive ends, wide receivers, etc. Foley is valued at close to 7 figures by multiple schools. He is from Cincinnati. I'm kind of at the point where I think it's Ohio State till it isn't for that kid. So I would not expect that Oklahoma is going to be too heavily involved there, because that's just not a position where they are inclined to spend that much. Now, don't get me wrong. They're not going to take scrubs at tight end. They would like to take at least one, maybe two, and they're going to set aside enough coin to make sure that they can get a couple of solid bodies, Grayson. But you're not paying $1 million for a tight end.
And with the roster construction and the identity of this team, they don't need to pay $1 million for a tight end. They just don't.
Now, I have been told, I mentioned this to you off the air, Grayson, there is one player on Oklahoma's roster right now that, as one good source put it to me this morning, has the name your price tool. He can pretty much dictate his value to Oklahoma, and they will fork over whatever it takes to keep him around for 2026. That player is not David Stone, not John Mateer, not Michael Fasusi, not Ryan Foje. Like, Oklahoma's being very prudent with how they approach retention negotiations with all of the players on their roster, and they're making it clear that, hey, we're not going to get bamboozled here. We're not going to turn this into, we're not going to allow this to become a racket. We're not going to pay obscene money beyond market value to keep you around. Like, we're going to be reasonable on both sides of this, and you're going to have to commit to being reasonable with us. But the one player that is essentially in a position where Oklahoma will fork over whatever he wants, that player is Tate Sandell.
And it should be because
they
would not be in the playoff without him.
Everybody in that business, everybody in that building understands that a big part of the reason why they are where they are today is because of Tate Sandell. Oklahoma's not in the college football playoff field right now without Tate Sandell.
No, they'd be at the Holiday Bowl or something like that. Pop-Tart Bowl.
Oh, back to the text line, 405-651-3439. By the way, before I forget, Grayson, why don't you cue up the circus music? Because in just a second, I want to get to a very nonsense-heavy weekend that gave us several strong contenders for our nonsense of the week. Denver from Indiana would like to know, okay, 15th time. I'm sorry, Denver, I didn't realize you'd texted this in 15 times. But he says, what happened to Dolby? One of my favorite players, disappointed in this season. Is he likely gone? I will put it to you like this, Denver. I expect Javonte Barnes to be available this Friday for Oklahoma. I do not expect Kendall Dolby to be available, and I would frankly be surprised if he took another snap as a Sooner. That's kind of where we're at.
Okay, so you think Javonte is going to be available?
Yes.
Do you think he's going to be utilized?
I would say yes, but I think that's also heavily contingent upon game flow.
Sure.
Because your A1 and A2 options out of the backfield are Xavier Robinson and Torrey Blaylock. But Barnes is a guy that if you get in certain situations, you're going to lean on him, i.e., a scenario late in the game where you have to throw the football. Barnes is probably going to be the back on the field in those types of situations because he's a really good pass protector and he's a pretty decent pass catcher out of the backfield. So there are certain downs and distances, certain game scenarios where Javonte Barnes could be utilized. But, you know, if Oklahoma gets the upper hand early and let's say Xavier Robinson is really in a zone and he's feeling it and punches in a couple touchdowns and kind of like you saw against Alabama last year, if it's just very clear from an early stage in the game that he's got it and you're going to be able to lean on him throughout the remainder of whatever you have up till the finish line at that point, then you probably don't see a ton of Javonte Barnes. If it becomes clear that either Robinson or Blaylock is in a serious groove, then you're not going to screw that up. But, yes, I would expect that you see Barnes at some point. Maybe it's only a snap here, a snap there, but I think you're going to see him on Friday, if I had to guess.
5-star K-Dub in the 918. Why do we even call it NIL anymore? It's not. This whole system has just turned into pay-for-play. I think a lot of us were fine with NIL, but no one is a fan of pay-for-play. I'm a fan of pay-for-play.
Grayson is a fan of pay-for-play, no doubt. I mean,
they're the people that put butts in seats. Hell yeah, they should be paid.
Yes.
The hell are we talking about?
And look, I frankly, K-Dub, I don't really think it matters what you and I think of it because this is reality. And the proverbial toothpaste ain't going back in the tube at any point. So this is the new normal. I mean, we may get to a point in the next couple of years where private equity continues to infiltrate college football, and it's just going to be treated more and more like a business. Yes, college football has fundamentally and drastically changed a lot in the last 5 years, but you ain't seen nothing yet.
No.
It's going to continue to move in this direction.
That Utah story that's something to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm. All right, time for 0 days since our last nonsense. Several strong contenders here, Grayson.
All right,
I need you to help me rank these 1 through 3. First and foremost, we have to start with Diego Pavia, right? The way he treated the entire situation over the weekend when he finishes the Heisman runner-up to Fernando Mendoza. Not a good look. And you know what?
Nope.
He's a guy that's 5'9" and change. I think he probably realizes that his athletic ceiling is as a really good college football quarterback and probably doesn't have much of a future in the NFL, so just living it up while he can, and more power to him, man. But when your reaction to finishing second in the Heisman is F all the voters, yeah, you're not making many friends.
Yeah, and then you go to the club, which I don't have a problem with, but then you go to the club and you've got the bottle service and the sign that says F Indiana too. Yeah. And all this on the heels of you pimping out your mom.
Nah, he's here for a good time, not a long time.
And by the way, he seems to understand it too. So,
exactly. And you know what? If that's the mindset, you do you, man. But not making many friends with the way that he's acted as of late. Maybe this is the traditionalist in me, Grayson. Country were upon Army and Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a day for the juxtaposition of patriotism and military service and college football to be celebrated.
Sure.
And then I'm sitting on the couch Saturday night and realize that we have corrupted Army-Navy Day by allowing the freaking bucked-up LA Bowl hosted by Gronk to be played on the same day. And if this isn't a perfect encapsulation of society today, I don't know what is.
Well, I mean, the expanded playoff, I think, has a lot to do with that. I don't think that's anything people necessarily wanted to do. But I'm not going to fight you on that. Like, I see where you're coming from.
We have taken Army-Navy Day and we have corrupted it with the bucked up LA Bowl hosted by Gronk. That is where we're at, folks. So those are the first two, Diego Pavia and the bucked up LA Bowl hosted by Gronk. That falls in the nonsense category for me. But this, I don't know, this might take the cake. You tell me, Grayson. Obviously, the Sharon Moore situation at Michigan is really bad all the way around. And I don't want to make light of anything that is happening with Sharon Moore personally, because I think it's very clear that he's struggling, man. He's going through it. He made some bad decisions to put himself where he is. But, man, a lot of people that are involved in that situation need prayer. Certainly his wife and 3 kids. Everybody that is embroiled in this scandal. Man, feel for all of those people. But apparently, there's this iconic restaurant on or close to Michigan's campus called the Brown Jug, where they have certain dishes that are named after Michigan legends. And I don't know if you saw this or not, but apparently there's a cauliflower pizza on the menu that is named after Sharon Moore's mistress.
Oh, no.
Which, man, and there is so much about this situation that was, like, it's all so blatantly avoidable. But can you imagine being the owner/chef of the Brown Jug and receiving a telephone call from the head football coach at the University of Michigan? Hey, can you name your cauliflower pizza after my executive assistant? At that point, there's only one thing going through my head, and it's, is that all she is? Just your executive assistant?
I feel like I say this way too often when we talk about things in college football. Where are the adults? Like, why can the adults not act like adults?
You got dishes named after Jim Harbaugh and Bo Schembechler.
God.
Whoever that. And then you have the Paige Shiver cauliflower pizza. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, like that.
You're leaving way too many breadcrumbs here.
Bro, I mean, for one, like, I mean, forget the Sharon Moore side of it, for one. If you're the owner of the restaurant, what are you doing? Like, is this the whole thing? Like, we want somebody to tag us on Twitter and we can get our likes and retweets, to quote Mike Steely. You know what I'm saying? But we're not all 15. You can go without that. Like, just be an adult.
Wisecracker asked, did the pizza get named for the mistress just recently, or has this been on the laminated menus for a while? No, apparently it's been this way for a while.
Okay, that changes a little bit, but still opens up another door of a million more questions.
Bad deal.
Yeah.
Bad deal. Who's Michigan's next head coach?
Okay.
Evidently, it's not Kalen DeBoer.
Hey.
Jed Fish? Maybe.
Chapstick on the text line with an interesting text. Army-Navy are usually just bad football. Take its day away along with Notre Dame's independence. Now, I do agree with the first part. Wow. Because, look, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I did not grow up watching the Army-Navy game. I do not watch it as an adult. The reason being is because it is generally boring football. Even that said, you should probably still have a day set aside for Army-Navy.
It's a throwback, man. That's the beauty of watching Army-Navy. It's like, it's old school football. It's anachronistic. It's like watching football being played in the 1980s, except it's the present day. His Army still runs the triple option. Navy's modernized their offense a little bit, but it's just, it feels nostalgic to watch Army and Navy play.
Yeah.
Every December in Baltimore.
I don't know. Like, give them the day. The pageantry's great and everything. It's some boring football, though.
So there you go, folks. 0 days since our last nonsense, featuring 3 installments of complete nonsense from around the sports world this past weekend. How would you rank them, Grayson? Which takes the cake?
Diego Pavia 1. Probably the Sharon Moore pizza thing 2, because that's just stupid, man. And then number 3, I'll go with Army Navy.
There's nonsense everywhere, folks. And every Monday, we bring a little more of it to your attention here on the program. Grayson Singleton, Parker Thune, here with you on Locked In. This is the Ref the home of Sooner fans. Let's hit a quick break. We'll come on back and wrap up the show next. Keep it right here. We're not going anywhere.
Do you eat, sleep, and breathe Sooner football? We do too. This is The Ref, home of Sooner fans.
Thinking about a new Ford? Here's a deal that you just can't beat. Vance Country Ford is offering 0% financing for 60 months and no down payment and no payment for 90 days. Let me repeat. That's 0% financing for 5 years and no down payment and not a single payment for 90 days. It's the year-end sales event, final days. Offer good on new Ford Explorer, F-150, Ford Escape, Mustang Mach-E, Ford Lightning, Ford Transit van, Ford Super Duty RCSC trucks. Your business is eligible to deduct 100% on your 2025 tax return if bought before the end of the year. Vance Country Ford in Guthrie, only 10 minutes north of Edmond on I-35. Visit us at vanceautogroup.com. With approved credit, while new 2025 inventory lasts through January, consult your tax consultant.
Feeling stuck in your current home? Now is the best time to make a move. Home Creations is making home ownership more affordable with low interest rate opportunities and special financing. Don't wait. Live like a champion today. Call Holly at 405-364-9999 to find your dream home.
364-9999 means Home Creations.
I'm your football-obsessed best man. Physically, I'm right here, but mentally, I'm here. Yeah, I do. Come on, speed it up. When all eyes are on you, my eyes are glued to the game. Whoa! Touchdown, yeah! And if you didn't bundle your home and auto insurance, well, all of this could be tough to tackle. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Call Josh Nelson, Allstate Insurance Agency, 405-360-9500 to be protected from mayhem.
From the bench to your defense. Tracy Schumacher, a former district judge, former Cleveland County prosecutor, and now your voice in a DUI fight. Your driver's license could be at risk. Time is critical. If you've been charged with DUI in Cleveland, McLean, Grady, or Garvin County, you need someone who knows how the system works. Schumacher Law Group at 405-701-1882 or visit lawgroupok.com. From the bench to your defense when experience matters.
F5 IPA by Coop Bellworks doesn't just hit, it touches down. Brace yourself for a hop-reckoning punch that'll blow your taste buds away. An iconic original that takes the proud title of Oklahoma's #1 selling IPA. Be sure to raise an F5 on game day.
Imagine a place where compassion feels effortless and comfort feels new again. That's Primrose Funeral Service, now in a beautiful new location at 3901 North Flood Avenue in Norman. You're also invited to a special community candle lighting service Tuesday, December 16th at 6:30 p.m. For more information or to RSVP, call 405-321-6000 or visit dignitymemorial.com. Primrose Funeral Service, serving Oklahoma with dignity, comfort, and compassion.
Speed can't be taught. You got it or you don't. Rose Hill Builders has it. Their game plan is efficient, and they do not cut corners for quality. Trust old Coach here. Call Rose Hill Builders to get your approval process started today. Rose Hill Builders, the team you want on your side.
The discounts are back. It's Honda's model year-end clearance at Eskridge Honda. Right now, get new 2025 Honda Accord Sport Hybrids for just $349 per month. That's right, only $349 per month. Or take advantage of low 2.99% for up to 60 months. Save during Happy Honda Days with no payments for 90 days at 89th and I-35 or online at eskridgehonda.com.
Stock number 255097, 10,000 mile, 36-month lease, $49.99 down plus TTNL, WAC through HFS. See dealer for details.
Text line's coming for you, Grayson. They're saying you don't know ball for dissing Army Navy.
You know what? I'll say this, too. By no means is that in any way disrespecting to anybody in the military or armed forces.
Oh, no, and trust me, if anybody interpreted as such...
Salute to all of you. So if anybody interpreted that, by no means did I mean that. Did I intend for that at all? We're just talking about straight football here. I don't find it appealing football to watch.
I bet Grayson loved Big 12 football in the mid-2010s. I bet that was his favorite era of football.
I'll tell you what, man. People think I hate Oklahoma because I went to Oklahoma State. I will tell you, as a high schooler and as a kid, when Lincoln Riley was the head coach of Oklahoma was appointment television.
There it is.
I remember sitting my behind on that couch for the entirety of that OU Texas Tech game, and y'all all know which one I'm talking about. Right there with my pops, Baker and Patrick, going bar for bar. That was great stuff, man. Now, not every game has to be like that, but the way Army-Navy football is played, it's not very appealing.
On the text line, as we wrap up here with our final segment here on Locked In, before we turn it over to Tyler and Ted on the rush at the top of the hour, Kyle from Salisaw would like to know, can you expound on the Dolby situation? I miss seeing him in the Crimson on the field. What happened? Well, okay. I'll do my best to lay it out as best I understand it. What position, Grayson, has Kendall Dolby primarily played during his career at Oklahoma?
Cheetah.
Correct. Now, is there much of a market for a 5'10", 205-pound cheetah in the NFL? Does that genotype really even exist in the NFL? It does not. And so part of the rub, as I have come to understand it, between Kendall Dolby and the OU staff was, hey, you're our cheetah. You're a really good cheetah. We love you there. You're going to be our guy there. Versus Dolby wanting to play somewhere else, like outside corner, for instance, to give himself a better shot at making the league. Because if you can play outside corner, you got a much better shot at going to the league than you do playing a position that is wholly unique to the Brent Venables scheme at 5'10" and 205 pounds. So Oklahoma, if you want to boil it down to its essence, Oklahoma sees Kendall Dolby as a really good, really valuable college football player. Kendall Dolby is looking at it more from the standpoint of, okay, where can I go with this? How can I use my time at OU as a launch pad? So, nobody's in the wrong there as far as their perception. It's just a simple case of not seeing eye to eye in that regard. And that happens sometimes. And that's why the transfer portal exists, is so guys can pursue a fit that more adequately matches what they're looking for, and so that the program can offset the loss of a player like that with somebody who more ideally matches what they're looking for and is down to be utilized in that capacity. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense to me. And, I've advocated for player movement for that particular reason for years. Just for that. And, Kendall Dolby goes down. What happens? Oklahoma brings in Kendall Daniels. Reggie Powers emerges as a really, really good player at that position. At this point, there's just not really a fit for him there. So, no, nobody's in the wrong here. You do, as a coaching staff, you do what's best for your football team. For Kendall Dolby, you're trying to do, even though you want to be a program guy, you're ultimately going to do what's best for Kendall Dolby.
Oh, zingers from the 402. If Grayson wants to watch awful football and not diss the troops, just put on his alma mater.
I love how every time I make a good point and that somebody has a hard time refuting, they go back to my alma mater.
Oh, man. Yeah, Oklahoma State's going to have to start winning again if you want to take the easy target away from people.
No, that's valid.
Oh, man. Sooner PT says, Parker, I consider myself something of a vocab geek. Thank you for teaching me the word anachronistic today. You're welcome. You're welcome. Happy to expand the vocabularies of listeners across the globe. I don't do it intentionally. I just, anachronistic was the word that fit there.
Let me ask you this.
What's up?
Away from the radio, do you use words like that? Like when you're just talking with the homies or something like that, do you use words like anachronistic?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I feel like you can attest to this to an extent.
Yeah.
I know we haven't hung out a ton outside of the office, but I think you can attest that I'm pretty much the same person off the air as I am.
Right. No, and I wasn't saying that to imply anything phony or anything like that. No. I was just, all of us change. There's a little bit of code switching that happens when there's a microphone in front of you.
Mike Concho says, Parker, I'm not a vocab dork, and I don't appreciate you saying big words for absolutely no reason at all. He added a laughing emoji, so that was tongue-in-cheek.
That's funny.
Big E from Muskogee asks, am I blocked or something? I'll ask one more time. Do you guys think Owen Heineke will get another year of eligibility? Big E from Muskogee, no, you were not blocked. We mention this from time to time, but we get a lot of texts throughout the day, and especially throughout the show. This is a very, very active hour on the text line. We get a ton of texts during Locked In. So we try to get to all of them. We can't. Apologies that we haven't addressed your question yet. But with regard to Owen Heineke, he acknowledged yesterday in his press conference, Grayson, that he's currently in the process of appealing to the NCAA for another year of eligibility. Do I think he'll get it? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my expectation, just because he said the NCAA is really cracking down on 6th years. That's not really the perception that I've gotten. The perception that I've gotten is if you have really any valid case for an extra year of eligibility, the NCAA is going to grant it. And Owen Heineke does have a very valid case. He wasn't playing football in 2021. He was playing lacrosse at Ohio State. So we don't know and we won't know. I mean, the NCAA is fundamentally unpredictable when it comes to those kinds of things. But, yeah, my personal expectation is that Owen Heineke is going to get the chance to return to Oklahoma in 2026.
And if he does get the chance, he will likely take it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know where you stand on this, Grayson. I think Owen Heineke could be a draftable guy.
Yes.
I don't know that he is a draftable guy right now as we look at the 2026 class.
I think he could be a dude. I mean, he's got good instincts. He's coachable, obviously. And he's got really good, tangible skills. Yeah, I think he could morph in with another year. I think he could morph into a dude that could slide in like the 5th round or something like that.
Oh, and he's one of those guys that you can foresee him having an NFL career of several years, which is a long time by NFL standards.
Right.
As a special teams demon, if nothing else. Like, that's the type of guy that will create value for himself if he gets a shot at a 53-man roster. So, if Owen Heineke does get the chance to come back in 2026, he'll have a chance to play himself onto draft radars, which I think he's already done to an extent, but you got to have, especially when you're as old as he is, you got to have more than one season of good tape in most cases.
Amen.
What else we got on the text? Man, this has been a popular question. This 405 listener wants to know, any chance Cooper Alexander would leave Iowa State in the portal and come to OU with little brother? I don't know, man. You would have to think with the change, with the shakeup on staff there at Iowa State, that it's going to be a consideration in Cooper Alexander's mind as to whether he wants to move on. However, he is fiercely loyal to Matt Campbell and that staff at Iowa State because they were the first P4 school. They were the first P4 staff to believe in him. And keep in mind, he had an Oklahoma offer, a committable Oklahoma offer out of high school and chose Iowa State over OU. And so it may be the case that if he gets in the transfer portal, he's following Matt Campbell to Penn State. And Oklahoma has to get Case Alexander in the boat first. I mean, it's nice to envision a world in which both the Alexander brothers are in Norman. I guarantee you, with where Oklahoma's at right now, they're more strictly focused on just making sure they land Case first. Got to get one before you can get two.
Yeah, you don't want to put the cart before the horse here.
And I've made this clear in the past, they're really heavily emphasizing Case Alexander's recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
They want to make sure he winds up in the class. I think they lead for him right now. I think they're in really, really good shape to get that done. He took 3, maybe 4 game day visits to Oklahoma throughout the 2025 regular season. So I do anticipate that they're going to be tough to deny with how early they prioritized him versus how early they prioritized his brother. They were a real latecomer in his recruitment. But got to get one before you can get two. And as of right now, Oklahoma's pretty solely focused on making sure they lock down Case. All right, folks. That is all for this Monday here on Locked In. Coming up next, It is The Rush with Tyler McComas and the Butkus Award winner himself, Teddy Lehman. I am Parker Thune. Grayson, Singleton, and I will do it all again. Same time, same place tomorrow. We'll see you then on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.